Welcome to the DGD Podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds and Keon in the
What's up?
building.
What's up?
Not much, man. Not much. It is Wednesday, which means SEC schedules for 2024 have been released. But we're not going to get to that just yet. We've got some bones to pick in the Georgia space, right? We obviously caught wind earlier this week. Dylan Raiola talk. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give you our thoughts and feelings about it. Quarterback situation, obviously. Georgia picks up a commitment, PWO, preferred walk on, from Culture Gen, coming off of a state title down there in Georgia.
Congrats.
Congratulations there. Welcome to Dog Nation. A lot to talk about, though, Keon. So let's get this started, man. Listen, but before we get started, we got to get it started right, right? Every morning, got to get your shit started right. Apotheos Coffee, right? First
100%.
sponsor of the day, first sponsor of the show. Always, listen, the coffee of champions, quite literally, right?
Yeah.
Go to our website, dgdpodcast.com. Go to our sponsors tab, go to Apotheos, and shop their selection. Every single bag, every single K cup that you get, 20% of that goes to the Classic City Collective. So you're technically supporting the dogs as well, figuratively and literally. So doing a little NIL play, but you also getting some good ass coffee as well. Had myself some mocha java this morning. Stuff's delicious, by the way.
100%.
But yeah, shout out to Apotheos for the support there. Keon, I'm gonna let you start off. We talk about starting off hot and heavy, so I'm gonna let you do this. If you're not familiar, you're Patrick Starr living under a rock. You probably haven't heard this, which is crazy. Dylan Raiola talks. Steve Wiltfong drops a Fong bomb to flip from Georgia to Nebraska. All right. What do you make of all this? What do you make of all of it, man?
So I'm looking at this from multiple different perspectives. This could be a situation where he is trying to hold out to get a bigger NIL package. That's one of the possibilities that I think could be out there. Um, but even then, as quickly as I say that, I'm going to step on this narrative because if you were as locked in as you said you were, why would that matter? You're not playing next year anyway. What I don't understand is because it's weird, man. Because I'm not here to slander a kid because that's exactly what he is. He's a kid. But we're just gonna talk about the facts, right? Fact is, in high school, you've moved to multiple different high schools. Some would even say you've ran from competition. You knew we were taking Ryan Puglisi. You knew that. What's going on now? You got cold feet? Like I'm trying to understand what's the situation. And then I'm looking at from Steve Wilfong and I'm reading further into it. There's potentials of him getting $3 million in Nebraska. Have you been watching them play football over these past few years? You think your offensive line was horrible at Buford? If you can make it through a season at Nebraska, I'd be shocked alone. I get it. There's a lot of kids that think that think, you know what, I'm ready to go. Because it might not just be the NIL situation, it could be playing time. Because you can't tell me that Dylan Raiola wouldn't step into that team and not be the best shit they have in the quarterback room. You can't make me believe it.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about that right there, I mean, Kyle McCord talk was, he was expected to go there.
Kyle McCord is absolute dog shit.
Well, the problem is he's not. I think he's expected to move on from Nebraska, so that all but solidifies my opinion that he goes
Yeah.
there and he's going to be the guy.
So here's yet again more questions. Because and actually, before I even truly say this, I want to go back. So all of that stuff, like I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it. Like out of all of the stuff that we've been told from him, from nobody else's mouth, nobody else's words, nobody else's page, his page. Whether you run your page or not, that's not my problem, nor is that my business. But stuff I've seen from you shouting out Devin Willock, you shouting out Paige, you even had Paige a part of your commitment post.
You talk about Devin. You talk about Devin and Chandler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Chandler. You just watched us win back-to-back national championships, which to me is the craziest thing. But I don't know. How do you feel about this? Because I think there's multiple things that could be in play. I think it could be an NIL situation. I think that yeah, I get it. You're a legacy at Nebraska, but if that's the case, you should have never committed to us in the first place. Because you got to think he was supposed to be an early enrollee. These kids are showing up to this school in like
2
this
days.
weekend.
2
Yeah.
days.
So for you to say, "Oh, I'm taking a trip to Nebraska. I'm taking a visit to Nebraska," I'm here to tell dog fans everywhere he's leaving. It's over with. He's going out there to sign the paperwork for his NIL deal out there.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too, and I think Jeff's got some comments here too. Talking
Pull
about
him
his
up.
dad. Well, it's just like for one, says his dad's got plenty of cash. It's not NIL. I slightly disagree there. 12-year career as a center in the NFL. The issue is when he played, you have to understand after taxes and everything, it's not that much. It's not. Let's just be honest. In today's NIL world, 1 year for an elite quarterback is probably a good chunk of his career after all the expenditures and stuff like that. So I think NIL is a little bit different nowadays. Even if his dad was a player, NFL player for 12 years. So to some degree, I do think it's NIL related, and you can't tell me otherwise. Which also leads me to this point. There was a comment that Matt Rule had talked about. Pinpointing a price for a good quarterback nowadays, $1 to $1.5 to $2 million-ish range, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems interesting now, knowing the situation.
Sure does.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be bitter towards him, right? Like you said, he's a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid. It is what it is. It's business, right? Georgia's going to move like they normally do, right? Sure. Losing a 5-star quarterback is never easy. However, when you have Pugga, in this class as well, I like what I saw from Pugs as well, man. So the cupboard is not empty in this recruiting class. And if you're worried about people leaving, who all committed as a result?
Right.
Raiola.
Right.
Like,
he ain't bring nobody with him.
I mean, like you don't like when he committed to Ohio State, we saw the whole Jeremiah Smith make those comments, but it's not the same here.
No.
I mean, hell, if you look at it, all we've got is Sokovie and Nitro right now. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, and I apologize if I am. But ultimately, everybody knows Nitro and Sokovie, right? That's your receiving class right now. So you didn't bring any receivers with you. I mean, maybe Jaden Riddell, but I think Jaden Riddell kind of saw the writing on the wall with Todd Hartley.
He sure did.
That's just my thoughts.
I don't think. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he has much to do with that, as like some would believe he does.
Mm-hmm.
Because the proof is in the pudding with Todd Hartley. So
yeah, no, that's one of those situations.
But
Yeah, I think
I don't. I don't think we lose. Like I said, I don't think we lose anything with him. Honestly, I mean, we still have Ryan, and honestly, when I think about the way how, when I look at what Ryan has gone through when it comes to his recruitment versus Dylan, I think everybody that is a part of Dog Nation truly, truly owes this man Ryan a heartfelt apology. And the reason why I say that is because once Dylan committed, I think a lot of people were just focused in on him and not a guy who damn near everybody and their mama was trying to recruit this man. And he said, hell no, I'm locked in. That, especially in this year's cycle, is something that I can honestly say, just as a fan, just as the person that's been following recruiting now on over 20 years, I could tell you it's rare. It's very, very rare.
You got to
Like,
understand this too. When Todd Monken went out and Puglisi comes in and he goes and camps everywhere this guy camps at, it literally just catches their eye. Like Georgia, Alabama, like just off the rip, offer this man. Like you can come play for us anytime you want. Like green light, whatever. It don't matter.
100%.
You cannot take that for granted. In a sense, you cannot overlook that. You just can't. So that's a testament to what these guys saw with Puglisi. Again, I'm not losing sleep. I'm not, because the NIL package you probably put for him, make that happen and get some other guys. Get some, go get me a D line. Go get me an edge, right? Go get me an edge. Make
Exactly.
some surprises happen on signing day.
Real
That
life.
would be
I mean,
fun.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to really look at is D line, edge, and wide receiver. Um, to me, that's something I think we really need to focus on at this point in time. Uh, but honestly, I'm not tripping. Like honestly, if he wants to go somewhere else, cool. Not my cage, not my dog. So we locked in with what we got, and we gonna roll with what we got. I think Ryan is really talented, especially if you go from the Elite 11 camp where you saw him out there balling as well. I'm not worried about it, and especially with what we have here, dude. Hey, man, I know there's a lot of Georgia fans that's out here that's pissed. Don't be,
It's a lot of
because
Georgia fans got freaked out and spooked because it's so last minute. What felt like.
hey, man,
Um, Anyways, welcome to the world of college football / NIL, guys.
yeah, no,
So
because and this is the biggest thing that I have been saying for the longest time. NIL is taking over the game of college football. To all of the Georgia fans, you got to understand, as frustrating as it is to see us miss out on guys, I mean, there's a purpose, and at this point, we just got to trust the process. That shit is infuriating because there's multiple players that I felt like we could have made an attempt to go get, but when you playing the game of NIL and somebody's willing to drop a bigger bag, you just gonna have to roll with it. So it
yeah,
is what it is at that point.
all in all, Jeff Hightough says it's not Beck related. I kind of agree with that.
No, it's not.
Wallace Smith, what's going on? He says, this is why I don't get up big for players committing, because they can change their mind anytime, and they're not a
Mm-hmm.
dog until they sign their letter of intent. What if I one up you and say, you have to recruit these guys constantly?
Even when they own your team.
Well, think about it just like this, guys. Y'all, if you haven't saw the news, I think we've got like 14, 15, 14 or 15, maybe even 16 portal entries,
Mm-hmm.
right? Marvin Jones probably being the most significant, I would say. Yeah, talk about recruiting your own team, right? Roster management and recruiting your own team, own players, is something you're continuously having to do at all times.
I feel like
Because
those I feel like those situations come with kids that aren't necessarily fully bought in, especially when you just watched us win a national championship. But hey, that's just me.
well, let's be honest as well, man. I understand kids want to play for winners and stuff, but at the same time, if you're not getting a run, what you want to you have ambitions, right? You want to play. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take these opportunities and go elsewhere to get on a scholarship and get playing time, right? You know
Yeah.
you're good enough, but at a place like Georgia, it's literally elite player on top of elite player, and the best play, right? So, I mean, like Jeff said, sad to see Zeke Haynes. Zeke Haynes was a name that we were kind of hyped up on.
Man, that one hurt. That
Yeah,
one hurt.
yeah. So,
Also, Fran Brown,
ooh,
you're doing a great job. I love that for you. Chill the hell out. I love what you're doing,
well, he got
but but
Jackson Meeks.
relax.
Let's see, Jackson Meeks. You've got Yazid or Zed and Makai Muse taking visits up there. They just flipped a
Commit,
four. They
commit,
just flipped up.
commit.
They just flipped a 4-star receiver from Stanford. Fran's already owned to something. I'm just gonna leave
Yeah,
that there for y'all folks if you don't know. To any Syracuse fan that may ever stumble upon this,
you
I
got a
swear to
great one.
I swear to God, I saw some Syracuse accounts on Twitter, man, and they were upset. They're like, "Why we get him? There's no like I don't think you understand. My man can recruit his ass off. Now he gets the right coordinators. It's gonna be nasty."
Hey,
So
if y'all Syracuse people feel that way, give them back. Fuck y'all. I mean, uh, well, no, I meant that. Fuck y'all.
Harry Leggy in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Keon, let's talk about this the transfer portal, man. Got some good feelings about a couple players.
Yeah,
I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on the potential of landing London Humphreys?
I like it.
Now, I think
London.
the key thing here is speed because I think he's 4.4 speed, but he's 6'3",
So you
and I
got
think he's
size there.
so yeah, 100%.
Size. I just want to say, Lab McConkey if he comes back, Carson Beck, London Humphreys. You get what I'm picking up? You putting up? You get what I'm saying?
I do. I think I do. Repeat some of those names for me, sir.
Right. Lab McConkey if he comes back. Hope so. Carson Beck, London Humphreys.
These white men are dangerous. No one is to go near them.
Yeah, it's, it- all right. Keon, what do you know about Coulter again? That's the new PWO. Mo Better asks, what do we know about him?
I don't know much, honestly. I'll be all the way honest with you there, but I'm gonna do my research and come back to y'all on the next one, on the next pod. What do you know about him?
Well, I know he just won a state title. I'll tell you that. 4A kid out of Perry High School down there in Georgia. Walk on. That's sounds familiar, considering underrated South Georgia boy
Wait,
taking a
where?
walk South Georgia.
No, but what's the city?
It's Perry High School.
Hold on. Here we are.
Well, Keon does his research. Perry High School, which is South Georgia. South Georgia, underrated, walk on. 1, 2, 3. Rings a bell, don't it? Rings a bell. I think. As we
Oh,
let
it's in Perry. Oh, okay.
what's
Okay.
that? You were thinking don't tell me you were thinking Alabama or something, huh?
Man. My mind went to Arizona. That's crazy.
How?
Because they have a Perry High School out there in Arizona.
Oh, I was gonna say what? Let's see. Harry also has asking about the 6'5" receiver for Miami. Yeah, that's a big bodied guy there. Definitely.
Kobe Young. Love that guy. Bring him in. Bring him in.
Would it be a year? Would it be a year or two? Do we know?
I think it's two. But
Two.
even if it's a year, that's a great year rental. Them 50-50 balls really start to look like 70-30 balls. Uh he just didn't get enough burn. But then again, I will say you're going to actually be with a quarterback that can get you the ball.
Yeah, if Carson Beck comes back, then
Yeah, Tyler Van Dukey wasn't really getting him the ball like that.
Tyler Van Dukey.
Yeah, no, seriously, and he's at Wisconsin now, I believe.
Good to him. Good for him.
Bad for them. Good for him. Bad for them.
Not my problem.
Right.
Couldn't be my team. Let's see. Beck. So Harry says Beck is the key. Mo Better says hopefully he sticks around a while. Yeah, I mean, if you get these guys in, man, like we've got speed on this roster already, right? Got Arian Smith. If he comes back, I think he should be. But you got Arian Smith, Anthony Evans, right? And then if you add London Humphreys, there's your 4.4 speed with a big size body. But you're also adding size. You've got potentially you've got a situation where you would have London Humphreys. You could take Colby Young. Say you've got Tyler Williams as well. Don't forget about people sleep on Tyler Williams, but he's still there.
I'm excited to see what he does this season. I think this is going to be a good one for him.
Ultimately, I said it before. I'm going to repeat myself on this one. I need you to step up.
Yeah.
I need you to step up, regardless of the fact. It's just how it goes, right? Just how it goes. Yeah, we ain't even talked about. We talked about so many receivers, guys. There's a big fish in the portal right now, and I think Georgia is going to land it. Going to bring it in.
Defensive line?
No.
What is it?
Running back.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a whale that's in the water. It's a whale that's in the water.
Man, Keon, what are your thoughts if Georgia were to land former Florida Gator Trevor Etienne?
I'm gonna be at the cocktail party with an Etienne jersey.
Oh man,
I'm not missing the cocktail. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no, literally 3 letters. 3 letters, his number, that's all I need. Georgia emblem, that's all I need.
Man, I'm just saying, it's a beautiful fucking thing to see that happen because you've got the situation where you could arguably land Chauncey Bowens, which was a Florida commit.
Yep.
And you could take Trevor Etienne from the portal. Georgia's not one to really take from Florida, but I think you make the exception for Trevor Etienne.
100%. Plus, y'all got to also understand, Kirby hates them. Like, he might be cool with Napier, but he hates Florida.
Oh, no, 100%. That's where you got FTMF. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars dog, what's going on? Star Wars in the building. I think there's several key names. We ain't even mentioned the defense side of the ball yet either. Xavier McLeod, I think, is the name you still want to kind of keep an eye out for as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be some added help for sure if you get him.
Yeah, I need us to go ahead and snatch ETN though.
No, keep in mind, guys. Keep in mind, this is only the first of 2 windows, and we're only maybe 10 days in of a 30-day window.
Yeah.
So, hell, did you see Malik Murphy? I think it is from Texas enter the portal, and apparently Georgia's reached out.
I would. He's a really good quarterback. I think he has the ability to be mobile. I think his ball placement is really good. He has a cannon of an arm. And most importantly, this dude is built like Roquan Smith right now as a quarterback.
So you're saying he adds to the dynamic of
the
running dynamic. Oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's 6'7".
Huh.
Yeah. Big as
Jesus
fuck.
Christ. That's a legit frame.
Yeah, 6'7", I think 6'7", 250, somewhere around there.
God almighty, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You wouldn't believe it. There was a picture over the summer before the season started where it was just like the Texas quarterbacks and they were in their weight room working out, shirts off. You could spot Malik easily.
Fair point. Man, that's just crazy to think some of these names, and still we're super young in here too. But I do want to ask your thoughts, man. Like, is there anything in the portal you see right now that Georgia needs to get? Obviously, or do you see
Walter
anyone?
Nolan.
Good luck with that.
I mean, you're throwing out people. I'm throwing out people. I mean,
No, I was
honestly.
talking. Well, I was trying to get to the point, like with Marvin Jones, and because we've got 3 outside linebackers that's left, right?
Yeah.
EJ Lightsey, EJ Light, excuse me, EJ Lightsey, CJ Madden, Marvin Jones, right? Those are your 3 backers. You know, I think you need some edge play. Do you think we have a chance at Landon Princely from Florida?
100%.
See, I know if you're into the crystal balls and stuff, apparently Matt
It's either
Zenitz.
us or Bama.
No,
Really?
he. I think Matt Zenitz 24/7 put a crystal ball in for Ole Miss.
Be serious.
But I mean, we'll see. I think he's going on a visit there too, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. Dog Day Afternoon says D line, receiver, and edge. Yeah, I think those are the 3 big pieces there. But Kirby's also shown in his time too. He's not going to sit there and just pick anybody. He's not going to settle. Just not going to settle. Jeff says not sure if Murphy wants to sit behind Beck. We don't know if Beck's actually coming back or not.
That's another thing too.
So I think you're doing your due diligence there if you reach out to Murphy, because I think he's definitely a serviceable quarterback to put up in a competition with Gunner at this point. You know, I think you would probably see, you know, the battle with Gunner and Murphy if Beck does not come back. You see Murphy if he were to come. You see not Carson Beck, but Gunner Stockton, and then I think Puglisi might come in as a freshman and just try to learn the playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Harry Leggy says we will soon smile. Kirby's at Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, the Georgia high school football playoffs are going on. It's just a huge, massive event. It's like a multi-day event. It's crazy.
Isn't there like a game going on there
I
right
think
now?
I think it's Milton and Walton. Yeah. So that's
It
Calhoun.
Yeah.
That's Daniel Calhoun for Milton, or I mean Walton. Excuse me.
That is a Willie Mammoth of a man already.
That is a massive human being, 100%.
That kid's so huge. You kind of want to see how big his parents is. Like his dad got to be like 6'6" or some shit. Like he's huge.
Next thing you know, he's like 5'6". Like, how'd you come out of him? Like, how'd you make that? How'd you make that? Like, I don't understand this. Sorry.
People be making monsters in their spare time, I guess.
Okay, so apparently Milton wins, says Harry Leggy. So Terrence Edwards got him a state title ring. There you go. There you go. I know Cedar Grove with Bo Walker. Do you hear about that? Now we're kind of switching over to some high school ball here in Georgia for Georgia high school football. Bo Walker, the 2025 running back commit, apparently went the hell off.
Yeah, Big Bo. Shout out to Bo Walker.
Yeah. Big Bo, right? Ironically, because he's like 5'9". But
hey, man.
Either way, I'm 5'9", so off me, maybe holler at me. You know what I mean? I had to do it.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, man, I think because you look at, let's see, like I said, Cedar Grove with Bo Walker, Walton, obviously with Calhoun. You actually got to see Savannah Christian against Cedar Grove, I think it was. And that's Elijah Griffin. Massive individual. Holy shit.
That
is a must-have in the 25 class. I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot to deal with.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah. I'll just leave that there. But but no, I think there's some good high school football. I know what happened in Texas, man? What happened down in Texas?
I've honestly been watching a lot of Georgia ball myself, so
I'll tell you right now, man.
But Sock is going back for what appears to be another three-peat. They're probably going to win it again.
Oh, damn.
South Oak Cliff, we call it Sock out here, but they're probably about to win it again. I think it's going to be very impressive to see.
Yeah, well, yeah, Kendra Harrison up here in North Carolina. Kendra Harrison in the 2A state title.
Bowling.
Yeah, offensive MVP, 2 tutties in the state title win. So he has a ring now. Weddington with Thomas Davis Jr. Um, Weddington won the 4A, so that was good to see.
Yeah.
It was good to see there. Other than that, though, man, what are your thoughts on the pulse of the program as it stands right now? Anything you need to get off your chest? Anything you want to bring up?
I mean, people are just panicking. Oh my God, the sky's falling. We lost a 5-star commit. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we gonna do? We don't have wide receivers. Oh my God. What are we gonna do? We don't have an edge. Oh my God. Too many people crying. Too many people crying. Too many people crying.
I mean, the future's bright, dude. You've got Mpemba, you've got Gabe Harris, you've got Damon Wilson, Jalen Walker. I think you see that playing around. We're about to see come the Orange Bowl what the future's going to look like. So don't sweat just yet.
No, most definitely. And that's one of my biggest things is really getting an understanding on where we are as a program, where we are moving forward. At this point, you really shouldn't be too concerned. Honestly, just stay tuned because there's more stuff that's cooking. We got ETN on the way, and if we get ETN, we got Chauncey coming in. Them two. Honestly, I think if we land ETN, we are in a great spot for us to get Princely, because that's as simple as saying, "Hey, man, you might as well come on over here, because if not, we gonna smack the shit out of you next year." Like, you know what I'm saying? You either join the evil empire or you get ran the fuck over. Like, there's no other way else to say it.
I'm with you there. I think another thing too that we need to keep in mind is with early signing day, right? I just feel like there's going to be some
100%.
some flip. Do you have any insight what you think could happen? Any guesses?
I know this is gonna sound crazy. I know y'all are gonna think I'm nuts, but hold on to your hat. It might be KJ Bolden. It just might be. It just might be. If I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. But understand, if I'm right, I am a genius.
Any other ones by chance?
No. I think
what about Wish? What about Wish? What do you wish would happen?
Bro, I wish we could get KJ Bolden and Jeremiah Smith, but I know both of those are kind of far fetched. What about you? Who would you say the two surprise ones would be?
Well, I think you need to get Terrell Anderson. Terrell Anderson, I think you need some receiver help. I know you're getting some size in the portal, but I want some longevity too. I would love to see that. Also, I think I know this ain't gonna happen, but flip Williams.
Man, if we flip, no, that's the one.
I don't see it happening, but I'm just saying.
I don't either. I don't either. I don't see it happening either. But Williams Noire would be the one for me.
What do you? I mean, could there be a chance that you see us take LJ McCray away? I just feel like there's something coming down the pipe, man. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yet again, I don't think it's going to be Jeremiah Smith. I would hope it would be Williams Noire. Because that would just be perfect for our defensive line, honestly. He would be the missing piece that we also need desperately, especially with the lack thereof as far as depth goes. You really put yourself in a position for you to come in and really fight for some real playing time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Slow down, baby. Hey,
Michigan, what is you doing?
Relax.
Bro, listen, you're supposed to be watching Alabama, not us.
Right. That beat Georgia period ain't finna help your ass now.
Maybe next year for sure. But, well, Georgia will be in the playoffs next year. But, I digress. I think there is something to watch in this recruiting class. Everybody's looking at the portal right now. Everybody's so focused on the portal that it gets overlooked to some degree. Yeah. So I would expect a little bit of fireworks show to pop off on early signing day.
Oh, you think it's going to be huge?
I mean, maybe. Kirby just always got that shit down on, man. He always gets that one flip. I mean, think about it, man. Well, you had Pickens that 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit, it can happen. So, Jeff says KJ's got 2.5 M reasons to stay with Florida State. Man, I'm just saying, if it's that much, that's absurd type of money. If you ask me.
So let's real quick, let's really have the real conversation. We need to really get more involved into these recruitments. I think at a certain point, I really hate that we don't get into bidding wars, man. I really do. I really hate that. But I understand it. But sometimes
the chaos shit sucks. Well, the chaos that it would, I mean, Kirby's only going to do when he absolutely needs a guy, right? Look at Damon Wilson. If you don't pony up, he's at Ohio State right now.
100%.
But the thing about it is, right, situations like that cause chaos because it could drive teammates apart due to the fact that they talk money. You're getting it. Say you've got juniors and seniors making something, and then you bring in a freshman that makes more and then some, right? That and then some. That's going to piss some people off, man. And I think you saw that with Texas A&M. I think that's the extreme. I think that's the extreme of it. But I think that's also what you have to be careful not to get yourself into, because that will happen, right? So Georgia, for what it's worth, I think Georgia will have to kind of alter their game plan a little bit, especially in certain positions when it comes to recruiting. I think receivers one that you really need to start looking at. But at the same time, Juan Daniel said it best here. The one and only said it here. If Georgia slows down the rotation of receivers, I think you're going to start seeing guys come in, because that means you're going to get these guys with more yards, closer to 1,000 yards, and I think that production will help drive will help some offensive firepower to come your way. That's just that's the thought and belief here. I'm on board with that now too. So there is that. Keon, second sponsor of the show. We're going to take a quick break here. Second sponsor of the show. You know him. We love him. It's Alumni Hall. It's Alumni Hall, folks. Shout out to Alumni Hall. Check them out at dgdpodcast.com. Go to your sponsor. Go to the sponsors tab. Go to Alumni Hall. Right? Get all your license. Nike, Cutter and Buck, 47 for your hats, Yetis, all types of Tervis, all types of stuff. Listen, it's also coming up on Christmas time. Okay? Take advantage of Alumni Hall. Go to our website and shop and get those last-minute Christmas presents. Right? For all those loved ones, get them the stuff that they need. You know they need it. But if you're in store, if you go in store to Athens, 10% off if you mention the DGD podcast. So do yourself a favor, go in stores or go to our website, dgdpodcast.com, and go shop now. Get yourself for Christmas. Get yourself something nice. Right? It's cold. Get you a nice little hoodie. Pullovers.
Go get the Air Maxes.
I don't think the Air Maxes. They don't have it anymore. I mean, those things sold out, man. You had to get them while you got them.
Y'all missed out. I ain't gonna lie. The Air Maxes are incredible. They're very comfortable and they're stylish.
Yes, that they are. But since we talk Alumni, let's transition to the SEC schedules. Okay.
Yeah.
SEC schedules were released tonight. All 16 teams, keep in mind, Texas and Oklahoma are now looking to be a part of that. And I will say, it is nice to see because some of the games have already gotten dates and times and channels, right? You look at, I think it was Texas, Alabama, or not Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Alabama, excuse me. You have, was it Alabama, Oklahoma?
Yep.
So there was a few that were released prematurely. But nonetheless, we're going to go through all of these. And hold on one second. Before we do that, I saw this comment that I need to maybe talk to. Dog Day Afternoon says, just saw some Nebraska channel talking about Nebraska is wrecking college football, which is worse. That or when they said on national TV that Colorado is the epicenter of college football. Both can be equally bad.
Yeah.
So we'll make that quick. Dog Day. Yeah, both are terrible takes. Both are terrible takes because you probably might fight to get a bowl game.
I don't know if they get one.
Exactly. So there you go. That's just our quick take on that. But no, back to the SEC schedules, right? Watched the show. I think it was on SEC Network. I thought it was very interesting the way they presented it, right? They typically do this. Guys, there's some weeks where you have some legitimate good weeks of football. And I mean 100%. Several key games. What we're going to do here is we're going to take team by team, right? Show you the full schedule as it stands. And then we're going to talk about that, right? I think
go on ahead and read them off.
All right. So here we go. So we'll start off, go alphabetical order. Here you got Alabama first. Week 1, you got Western Kentucky, and then you have a home game against South Florida before traveling to Wisconsin in week 3. Then you have a bye week before hosting Georgia in week 5.
I think there.
Georgia in week 5. I think Georgia-Bama in week 5 is probably the epicenter of this season for the SEC. However, I'm not taking away too much because there are some really good matchups. But after Georgia, you go to Vanderbilt. So you go to Nashville. Then you host South Carolina before going to Tennessee, third Saturday in October. You host Missouri before a second bye week. Note you will get 2 bye weeks. Each team gets 2 bye weeks this season, by the way. Keep that in mind. So you have 2 bye weeks. So the second bye week, then Bama will go to LSU. They will host Mercer. They will go to Norman, Oklahoma, and then the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. Well, let's break that one down quickly. Any key matchups there besides the obvious one? I'm looking at it. I think the Oklahoma trip before the Iron Bowl is very interesting.
Yeah, I might go see that, honestly. With Texas and Oklahoma coming over to the SEC, it really puts me in a great spot because, truth be told, I'm only 3 hours away from the Palace, max, in Oklahoma, and maybe 3 hours max away from DKR. So I'm in a perfect spot. I'm going to see them play quite a bit this year. Yeah.
Look at you. So that was Alabama's. Arkansas opens up against Arkansas Pine Bluff before going to Stillwater and Oklahoma State. So they go to Oklahoma State. They host UAB before going to Auburn. Then they host A&M and Tennessee back-to-back before their first bye of the season.
Ooh.
Then they host LSU before going to Starkville. Then they host Ole Miss, a bye, right? Second bye week. And then they host Texas and La Tech before going to Missouri to end off the season. First things first here, they have 2 stretches of 3-game stretches at home, right? So you've got the Ole Miss by Texas, Louisiana Tech. Then you've got the A&M Tennessee by LSU. So they've got 3 games with a bye in between. And I think while that is something beneficial to them, it's Arkansas.
Right.
And that's a tough schedule, by the way. That's a tough schedule. I think looking at Tennessee with having the bye week before Tennessee and LSU, and also Ole Miss and Texas.
Yep,
So I think that is something to keep in mind if you're Arkansas.
100%.
So I thought that was interesting as well. Let's look at Auburn. Auburn hosts A&M. Good Lord, what a 5-game stretch here. Alabama A&M. Then they host Cal, host New Mexico, host Arkansas, and then host Oklahoma before going to Athens in week 6. So Auburn will start off with 5 home games, then go to Georgia before their bye week. They have road trips after the bye week to Missouri and Kentucky. They will host Vanderbilt, then a bye week. Then they bring in ULM and Texas A&M before traveling to Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl. First thing
I
that
just
strikes me, go ahead.
I just want to thank God that we're gonna be playing them in Athens.
I'm with
I
you.
just
I'm with you.
oh shit.
Mitch all day says, "What's all this ruckus?" Yeah, this is the SEC schedule, sir.
Yeah.
We're chatting this up. I'll pull this back up. Listen, I think what strikes me immediately, they have 3 games to start the season. They could very well be 3-0. You host Arkansas. I think that's a winnable game considering Arkansas and the state of that program. The Oklahoma Georgia back to back right there is going to be very brutal for them. Very brutal. What are your thoughts on this schedule?
I mean, I think yet again they have every possibility in the world for them to start this season 4-0. Um then you got Oklahoma, which is going to be rough. They're probably going to lose that. Then us, they're going to lose that. Bye week, deep breath. Here comes Missouri. Here comes Kentucky with Brock Vandegrift. Vandy. Okay. Now you can start to prepare for the bye week. Then you have ULM. Should be a win. We don't know yet. Texas A&M. They're probably going to get punched in the mouth. And then they end it with the Iron Bowl. I'm not going to lie. This schedule, you're going to see 2 things from Auburn fans. By week 3, Auburn fans will be on the timeline lying to themselves and believing their lies. If they beat Arkansas, they're all in on the lie. Oh, we're 4-0. We can beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma, reality check. Heat check. Then we're going to come in and do what we're going to do. I can see a world 8-4. Wait a second. Hold on. Put the schedule back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at best 6-6.
How do you see it playing out in
Uh,
order here?
Win week 1, win week 2, loss week 3. I'm playing.
You have them losing to New Mexico?
I'm joking, but
Okay,
honestly,
good.
they did just get their shit kicked in by the New Mexico Aggies. Shout outs to our boy Bank out there in New Mexico. So they really could start out 3-0. If they beat Arkansas, which it all depends on what Arkansas we get at that point in time. But let's say things are starting to look rough for Arkansas. You got 4-0. They're losing to Oklahoma. They're losing to us. They're losing to Missouri. They might also lose again to Kentucky. Vanderbilt, they'll probably get a win there. ULM, they'll probably get a win there. Texas A&M is probably going to be a loss. And Bama is going to be a loss.
Dog Day Afternoon says he's making a shot here. He's calling for them to beat Oklahoma.
No, I think Oklahoma is going to have a really good team offensively. I think that defense is really going to take a jump. You also got to understand Jackson Arnold is not a slouch. Kid is a gunslinger. I've seen it myself. Him going to school out there in Denton, Texas. This kid, like he's crazy. I saw him make NFL throws earlier. Now I do want to see what the next schedule is. I think we have Florida queued up. Now Florida, This is where things get very horrible, right? You're going to start off with Miami. That's going to be a loss. Samford should be a win. We're going to give you that. Texas A&M loss again, right? Mississippi State doesn't have a quarterback. You should get a win there. Right now, going into the bye week, you are 2-2. Deep breath. UCF loss. Then we got Tennessee. You're at Tennessee. You're out there in Rocky Top. Nico's playing. Joe Milton's gone. That's a loss. Kentucky. That's a loss. Then you got a bye week again. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Cocktail party, ETN, in your face. You're getting smacked. Boom. Right after us, you play Texas at Texas. Not going to lie. I personally might attend this game. I got to remember this. What is this? November 9th. I had to write that down there. And then right after Texas, you got LSU. You're going to get bullied. Ole Miss, you're going to probably get bullied as well. Florida State, they're going to be a better team. I mean, honestly, their roster is going to be different without their quarterback situation. You're going to have a loss there. Pull the schedule back up one more time. I want to count the losses again. So 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. I'm looking at another 5-7, 4-8 season.
Ironically, you say that. Dog Day is saying they will four-peat losing seasons. Mitch saying Florida for sure coming with a four-peat. Florida will lose their last 6 games and they'll struggle to be 500 in the first 6. I'm gonna pull this back up because that last slate of games, those last 5 for me, are nasty.
Bro, that is bro. So
that is
let me
insane.
And let me also say this for everybody that's listening, and so y'all can hear it straight from my mouth, right? Florida has the hardest schedule in the conference in 2024, hands down, bar none. They have the hardest schedule in the conference.
Because their team is trash and it makes it look that bad.
No, but bro, Miami is a good team. We got to respect that. Florida State's a good team. You got to respect that. LSU, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be in a better situation. Ole Miss as well. Texas A&M as well. We're getting better. Tennessee's going to be better. Like Texas A&M is going to be better. Like this is like their schedule is crazy for how bad they are. So, yeah, no, they have the hardest schedule in the conference. I'll give them that.
I'll say if the roles were flipped and Georgia had the schedule and you put Florida, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State, I think it'll still be difficult, but I think Georgia would manage a lot better than Florida by any means. So that's what I'm saying, Keon.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that 100%. All right. So let's see who the next schedule is.
Georgia.
All right. So a couple of things. Oh yeah, we're at Ole Miss. Oh yeah, I'll be in Austin. I gotta see that. I'll be in Austin. That's gonna be crazy. Well, I don't know. I might go to the Ole Miss game. I don't know. But Georgia, you look at us. We started out with Clemson. Then from there we played Tennessee Tech. Then Kentucky. Bye week. Let's take a deep breath. Then we got to play Bama. Then after that, Auburn. Damn, we got to play the whole state of Alabama at that point. Jesus. And then Mississippi State. Then we're here in the Lone Star State, the great state of Texas, at DKR in October 19th. I absolutely love it. Then we have a bye week. Then it's the cocktail party. You know how we party. Then after that, we have Ole Miss. Then Tennessee, UMass. Shout out to Victor Cruz. And Georgia Tech, right? Overall, good schedule. I mean, not going to lie, for everybody that was sitting up here bitching about what our schedule was this previous year, can't say that shit no more. So, yeah, all the haters, I'll go ahead and shut the hell up real quick.
Yeah, definitely can't say shit to us about our schedule in 2024 by any means.
But yeah, there's just a handful of games I just gotta go to. I want to be at that Bama game, that Texas game because it's here, and then yeah, especially if we pull ETN out of the portal. Yeah, I gotta go to that cocktail party. I gotta look Florida fans in their
It's gonna be
face.
nasty. It's gonna be nasty if that happens.
Yeah, I
So
gotta look him in their face as he scores a touchdown, and then you know what? And that's another thing too. It's gonna be a nasty scene for them when they see ETN running into the end zone, hit him with the gator chomp,
oh,
just to bring back
that'd be the
memories.
most petty loving shit right there for me ever. Keon, you ready
Can't
to
wait
do
for it.
you ready to do Kentucky, my man? I think
Yeah,
Kentucky.
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, let me start it out with the Fighting Brock Vandergriffs. We have Southern Miss right after that. You have South Carolina. Then you have Georgia, Ohio. Uh, gonna say Miami of Ohio, or is it just? Oh yeah, I'm gonna say Miami of Ohio.
It's
Then
the it's no. It's Ohio Bobcats. Miami of Ohio is the Red Hawks.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're right. You're right. Um, so Ohio, Ole Miss, bye week. Take a deep breath. Now you got Vandy. You got Florida. You got Auburn, Tennessee, bye week again. Then you got the Fighting John Morant of Murray State. And then you have Texas and then Louisville. Kentucky, not gonna lie. If everything pans out the way that it should for them, I've been seeing a couple of the moves they've been making from also getting Jeremy Macklin from my alma mater. Shout out to Scrappy Eagles of UNT, University of North Texas. But as of now, I, it all depends on how things go after that Georgia game. I'm glad we get them out the way early.
I'm with you. I think that you catch them before they get to gelling because they've been hitting the portal hard for receivers. Obviously, got Brock Vandegrift. Bo Allen from Georgia Southern comes back as a backup, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
They're loading up, and they also kept a guy like Deion Walker too. I think that's going to be key for them too defensively. Um,
100%.
let's
Mitch,
move. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Mitch, damn right. Scrappy Eagles. Ah! So,
There you go, folks. Never thought I'd
yeah.
hear that on the show.
Yep.
Let's talk LSU, man. Here you go. Here's LSU.
All right. So the Bayou Boys, they started out with USC. I like that. Then they got State following right after that. Then you got South Carolina, UCLA. Love that. South Alabama. That's going to be great. Bye week. Hold on. Take a deep breath. Then we got Ole Miss. And then after that, we have Arkansas, Texas A&M. Bye week again. The Bama boys come into town. And then after that, you got Florida, Vandy, and then you finish the season with Oklahoma. I'm going to be honest with you. I see LSU making the playoffs. I
Dude,
see them making the 12 team.
this schedule does seem very favorable.
It does, because here's the thing, people. I don't want y'all to look at this list and get yourselves confused at all. I know we have some name brands on here. Also understand a lot of these teams are trash. UCLA is they're going through their struggles, to say the least. USC garbage, right? Let's just go ahead and say that right there.
They won't have Caleb Williams.
They sure won't. So yet again, USC garbage, UCLA, ugh, and then you have Florida on here as well. Yeah, you still have your Bamas, your Texas A&Ms, cool, but you're ending the season with Oklahoma. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for LSU because we all know that when it comes to them, they usually try to end the season strong, and especially
That'll be a very fun matchup. That'll be a good way honestly, that'll be a good way to end the season, right?
yeah.
I think LSU Oklahoma could become a manufacturer rivalry, kind of similar to what Florida was.
Mm-hmm.
Here we'll pull up through here. We'll go Mizzou. I want to say we'll go Mississippi State this time. Excuse me. Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest.
Yeah. So this is Mississippi State's?
No, this is Ole Miss. Excuse me. Wow, sorry.
Okay. So they start out with Furman, then go from there to Middle Tennessee, from there to Wake Forest. They're going to be near you. Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina, at LSU. Going to be interesting. Deep breath bye week. I'm going to stop right there. Can we acknowledge that they have to play half the season before they make it to their first bye week?
That is very interesting. So after the bye week, they host Oklahoma, go to Arkansas, host Georgia. So you go 3 bye week, right? And then you go to Florida and then host Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. I think this is a favorable schedule as well.
Wait a second. Time out. This is Ole Miss's schedule?
This is Ole Miss's schedule.
Time out. I want to say something, and this might catch you off guard as soon as I say it. Ole Miss is making the playoffs next year.
Well,
Where's
let's
Alabama? Where's Alabama?
Let's do this. Let's finish the schedules. We'll talk about some weeks, and then we'll talk about the potential playoffs based off way too early. What about that?
100%.
We're about to. All right. So for the sake of the discussion, we're gonna do the flight of a bumblebee through the remaining schedules here. Okay, and then we're gonna talk about it. All right. Mississippi State, Eastern Kentucky, at Arizona State, Toledo, host Florida, at Texas, bye week, at Georgia, Texas A&M, Arkansas, UMass, at Tennessee, bye week, Missouri, and Ole Miss.
Time out. Real quick. Somebody in our conference that was dumb enough to put UMass on the schedule, somebody is finna get their ass kicked by UMass, and we're gonna laugh so hard about that when it happens. Continue.
There's your predetermined shot right there. All right, Missouri, Murray State, I believe that is.
Yep.
Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, all at home before going into your first bye week. 2 Texas A&M at UMass. Missouri goes to UMass. Host Auburn, then to Alabama, bye week. Oklahoma after the bye week, to South Carolina, at Mississippi State, hosting Arkansas. That'll be interesting. This is, let's see, Temple. All right, this is Oklahoma. Excuse me. Oklahoma has Temple, Houston, Tulane. Watch out for Tulane. Tennessee, all at home. First 4 to start off. Then you go to Jordan-Hare. Welcome to the SEC where you have to deal with Jordan-Hare voodoo.
I hope that's a night game. I pray that's a night game.
I
pray that's a night game.
Bye week. Actually, no, it won't because that is week 5.
Oh.
That is week 5. So keep that in mind. Now, it may or may not, but I think that's a big game. It'll probably be a noon or something else. Bye week after Auburn. Then Red River Shootout. Hosting South Carolina. Hype Beamer coming back, go to Ole Miss, Maine, hosting Maine, go to Como, bye week, right? Host Alabama right there, bam. And then at LSU, we talked about this before, what it would be like for Oklahoma and Texas. What if you get an Alabama LSU back to back? Well, they fucked around and they found out.
What if you get and yet again, highly unlikely. What if you get an Auburn night game and an LSU night game? Welcome to the conference.
I think with the new TV contracts, and I'll save this for a little bit, but you're going to see a lot more night games, big time night games. You're not going to see, obviously, the 3:30 at CBS is out the window, so there's a lot of reason to put them at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that.
Too.
All right, so that is Oklahoma. South Carolina, here we go, folks. South Carolina, Old Dominion at home. Kentucky on the road. LSU and Akron at home, but first bye week. Ole Miss at home. Go to Tuscaloosa. Go to Norman, back-to-back.
Ooh.
Woof. Bye week. Host A&M. Go to Nashville. Host Missouri. Host Wofford. Go to Death Valley, and that's Clemson to end the season. Tennessee starts off with Tennessee Chattanooga. Then you play NC State in Charlotte. Kent State. Then you go to Norman, week 4. Heupel is going back home to Norman before the week 5 bye. At Arkansas, hosts Florida, hosts Alabama. Florida and Alabama back-to-back weeks. Lovely stuff.
Shit.
Bye week. Kentucky and Mississippi State at home. Go to Georgia. Go between the hedges. UTEP. UTEP at home. Then you end the season in Nashville. All right. Texas. Here we go. Oh, Texas. It's fun. Colorado State. Week 2 at the Big House. They play Michigan. Love that non-conference schedule right there.
Me too.
Love that play.
Me too.
UTSA week 3. UL Monroe, Mississippi State. At home, though. They don't get to deal with the cowbell. Not yet. Bye week. They go bye week and then get Red River. Then after Red River, they go and they host Georgia. Woo.
Yo,
Wow.
Wait a second. If that shootout, if that Red River rivalry does not go the way how they want it to, boy, you about to be in for some shit.
So they got in week 7, you got the Red River shootout. Then you host Georgia before going to Vanderbilt. Then you have your bye week. You host Florida, go to Arkansas, host Kentucky, and then at Texas A&M. That's going to be nasty. That is going to be nasty. I think that Oklahoma-Georgia back-to-back is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting.
I know I keep cutting you off at the end of each and every last one of these, but that Texas A&M game, that has to be a night game, right?
One would think. And speaking of A&M, let's finish up these last 2 here. Notre Dame to start the season.
I like that.
In Kyle Field.
I like that.
Then you play McNeese State. Go to Florida week 3. Then you've got Bowling Green, Arkansas, and Missouri at home. First bye week after that. Go to Mississippi State to get some cowbell, and then host LSU. Then go to Willie B in South Carolina before your second bye week. Then you've got New Mexico State at home. You travel to Jordan-Hare.
Mm-hmm.
And then you host Texas. And for Vanderbilt, we really don't care, but we're going to do it anyway. Keon, read that off for me, boss.
Yeah, we got VTech, Alcorn State, Georgia State, Missouri, bye week, Alabama, Kentucky, Ball State, Texas, Auburn. Then you have South Carolina, bye week again, at LSU, Tennessee. Hey, look, the only request I got from you, Vandy, just finish your field, finish your stadium. That's it. That's it.
I love it. I saw this. There's obviously week 5, right? Week 5, you've got Georgia, Alabama. Right? I think that's that's probably the biggest game of the SEC conference all year. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to read off these SEC games here in week 8 and listen to the schedule for week 8, guys. Week 8, you're probably going to be sitting on your ass all day. You ready for this? Yeah. I'm going to read them off. Alabama at Tennessee.
Ooh.
LSU at Arkansas.
Ooh.
Auburn at Missouri.
Oh, I'm watching that.
Kentucky at Florida. Georgia at Texas.
No, I won't be watching any of those games.
You got Texas A&M at Mississippi State. South Carolina taking on Oklahoma. And then Ball State at Vanderbilt, if you really count. Hey, that's a toss-up.
No, that's
a good slate of football games right there.
You said that's week 8?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. I think
That
a
is
lot of these games that we're gonna see this season, a lot of these big time matchups, they're gonna be night games. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that Georgia Texas game is a night game. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm just gonna leave it here too. I think that the balance of each week you have like we just said, week 8 loaded, right? But every week seems to have a marquee game, right? And maybe not even conference play, right? Even like think about it. Week 2, Texas and Michigan, right? The game, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the problem is it's at Michigan, so you kind of get where that's going, right?
Right.
However, you still got several important games that you can play each week, and I think each matchup is going to have its own take, right? So I think the primetime games each week are going to be worth watching. Like it's not this feeling where you have in the past you would have the 3:30 CBS game and then nothing else, right? Cupcake week. Think about this. Cupcake week before the end of the season, right? Before we play Georgia Tech, right? That's not happening.
Yeah, it's gone.
That's not happening at all.
So, yes.
So because you think about it, the week before, right? Like this past year, it was Georgia, Tennessee, right? Next year, this in 2024, you're looking at Bama, Oklahoma. So every week, even when you feel like it's probably going to be a down week, isn't necessarily a down week. At least there's one potent game to watch, and that's with 2 bye weeks, by the way. So, Keon, I want to ask you this: who do you think has the softest schedule, and who do you think has the hardest schedule? And I'm not worried about numbers. I know Mitch has been dropping comments left and right regarding numbers and strength of schedule here, but what are your thoughts personally?
I think yet again Florida has the hardest schedule in the conference. Pull up South Carolina's schedule for me one more time.
Who's?
South Carolina. Is it South Carolina schedule?
Yes.
Yeah. This shit kind of look. Actually, you know what? I'll say no. I won't say South Carolina. I'll say Vandy.
You
Pull up
say
their schedule.
Vanderbilt schedule? What
Mhm.
part of that? What part of that?
I mean, from Virginia Tech to Alcorn State, you got Ball State. I mean, shit. Yeah, you might play Alabama and LSU, but you're either gonna have to play Alabama, LSU, Georgia, or Missouri. Like everybody.
My hardest schedule is gonna be Florida. And I understand like Florida's not gonna be that great in my opinion. But just here in the last 5 games, when you play the cocktail party in Jacksonville, and then you go to Texas, you go to DKR, then you host LSU and Ole Miss back to back. That's not easy there. That's 2 potent offenses right there. Then you go to Florida State and play a rivalry matchup. That's your last 5 games after you've been beat up. Even though you got 2 bye weeks, you're still beat up. That stretch to me is rough. Rough, 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 rough. Simple enough. Just gonna leave that there. I think it was Missouri to me was probably the easiest. I think they have a very favorable schedule outside of going to Alabama. I think they can handle most of that. I think the game going to Texas A&M is going to be something to watch, and maybe but they host Oklahoma, they host Auburn. I mean, you got Vanderbilt at home, Arkansas at home. Like, I don't see, and they're on the road at South Carolina, at Mississippi State, at UMass. Like I said, outside of Alabama and maybe A&M, Missouri has an easy shot if they have the right talent to make the playoff, like 10-2, or you know what I mean.
Actually, pull up Ole Miss's schedule because let's get into that because I think Ole Miss might have a clear pathway. Is this Ole Miss's schedule?
This is
What? This is insane. Where's LSU? Right there. Where's Bama? Nowhere.
Yeah, they don't have Bama this year. Speaking of, so let's do this. How many? Obviously, we're going to do way too early. We'll talk about this later. Trust us. How many teams do you see from the SEC in the 12-team playoff, and who?
So outside of the conference champion, they're going to be in. I see us getting 3 more teams in.
So you've got 4 teams.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. I could see 3 or 4 teams making it. Because I can make an argument for. I can make an argument for. So like, let's say we win the conference, or maybe not. Let's just say we lose. Let's say we lose in the conference championship again. Doubt it, but let's say it happens. We're in.
Keep in mind, there are no divisions
in the
next
conference.
year, so it's literally the 2 best teams. Yeah,
against each other. So, so let's say we lose, so we're in. I would say Ole Miss, serious shot to make it. I'll say they're in. And honestly, I might pull up Texas schedule real quick.
You said who?
Texas.
We're looking through the schedule here. That's why there's silence.
Yeah, so I got us. I got Ole Miss and Texas.
I would say Georgia. I think Georgia, Alabama. I'm looking at Texas still. See, I don't know about Texas, man, because I don't know what Michigan's going to look like for them.
So I agree, and that could be a defining line for them. I do also want to put it out there that Texas is coming into a new conference, whole nother level of competition. They're used to being the top dog in their conference. There's not that anymore. So let me go ahead and remove them. But I want to say Texas is a possible. I do want to say that because, I mean, I'm just looking at it, man. I could see us getting 4 teams in.
See, I can see 3 or 4. I've got Bama, Georgia. I got Bama, Georgia, LSU, and I think Ole Miss.
Yeah, that could actually be a good one there.
No, actually, wait. Missouri, depending on how things, obviously way too early. Missouri got an easy schedule.
They got Bama on there. Pull up the schedule.
That's it, though.
They don't play us?
No.
What?
No,
Pull it up there. Pull it up.
There's your Missouri schedule.
Missouri could real deal make it. That's crazy.
Obviously, there's so much that could be. There's so much time between.
Yeah.
Right now, you're looking at rosters that might not really be intact or completely different this time in 6 months from now. So this is hypothetically way too early. So keep that in mind.
This is way too early to be way too early.
This is extremely early. Read some comments here before we wrap this thing up. Falcons fan 1020 says Georgia's schedule is hard. Ole Miss schedule is easy. I see that. Georgia's got to earn that. They'll have to earn the playoffs, but I think you'll be fine. You're Georgia. Especially if Carson Beck comes back, I think you're golden at that point.
I think so too.
I think Harry's talking 2-10. Seeing some comments here about some of these schedule records, predictions, and stuff are way too early. Falcons fan says, "My God, Missouri schedule. Sorry." I don't think it's necessarily sorry, but you have to understand, right? What you have in one year is going to look completely different the next.
Oh, 100%.
Completely different. So if you think they got it made now, theoretically, it's going to be difficult because you'll have a Georgia, or you'll have other teams on there, and it's going to be fun. So before we do that, they're also getting Oklahoma at home after a bye week. So you got a week to prep for Oklahoma too. So good shot. Overall, Keon, what are your thoughts on these SEC schedules, man? I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun football every week.
Y'all want to sit up here and talk all of this shit about this conference. And I say this to these people that are not fans of teams in this conference. Y'all finna be pissed off. Y'all finna be mad. Y'all finna be mad as hell when it comes playoff time and we got 3 or 4 teams in and your conference only got 1.
I think you're going to see a heavy load of way too early as well, but I think you'll see a lot of Big Ten and SEC representation outside of conference
100%.
champs. Outside of conference champs. So I think you got it right there. Is Master Schrader coming back, or is Mizzou going to have to find it? I think they got to find another back. I think he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's finna get drafted.
Falcons fan says that week 1 Clemson game is a must win. We got to go to Texas and Bama. No way we leave the unscathed. There is a way that we do.
Yeah, there really is.
But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. So I get what you're saying.
I have us beating Texas in DKR. I will be in the stands. I will be in attendance.
Falcon. You're also thinking too. It's extremely hard to go out of Tuscaloosa with a win. So
yeah,
and they'll have Milrow back. So you could very well see a different. You know what I mean? And we get them in week 5 too. So
yeah,
you kind of get them early, but
Georgia fans, don't be shocked if we lose a game during the regular season. Don't be shocked.
But the thing is also, don't be shocked, but at the same time, understand that one loss more than likely will not knock you from playoff contention.
Yeah.
Just leaving that there.
100%.
Harry says, y'all remember the newbies have to adapt to a given team style too. On the road in the SEC is treacherous. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, Texas handled that, right? We saw what happened. I don't care if Bama was one team in week 2 than what they were just right against us. I understand that. At the same time, going into Tuscaloosa and coming out with a win is impressive in its own right, regardless of the situation. I don't care.
Yep.
So they can handle it. It's just a matter of doing it consistently now. 100%. And I think that's something that Texas and Oklahoma fans, I think the fans are going to get used to this fairly quickly. I think, some of the coaches will be able to handle it too. You've got, you got Sark and you've got Rent Venables. Both guys are, I think, ready to go when it comes to the SEC slate. You're going to look forward to playing it, I'll tell you that. Mitch says, if Mizzou can address the loss of Schrader, they'll be primed for success, especially with Winery coming. Not so fast, my friend. My wish list, I want to see it happen. But if they get Winery, but keep in mind, Mitch, Missouri is a very upper class driven team.
Yeah.
This year. You're going to lose both your DBs, a lot of your defensive line that you had. So you're bringing in some talent. You'll still have Burton as well. I think Theo Weiss might be able to come back, but he may or may not be. I'm not sure. But regardless of the fact, you got a situation where, you're reloading, you're filling up the talent, right? You're reloading off of it, but you're losing a lot of experience. So their schedule is manageable, but you got to make sure the talent transfers over.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Keon, before we wrap this thing up?
I'm so happy they dropped the schedule, so now I can start planning my vacations around it.
You definitely, it's definitely fun knowing that you're going to get to a situation where months out you can plan. By the way, if you're listening and you're trying to go to Austin, you better go ahead and book your go ahead and book your hotel now.
Yeah.
Formula One will be the same weekend. If you don't know what Formula One is, it's probably the world's biggest event. People from all over the world will come to Austin that same weekend. So go ahead and book it now. And you'll probably have to book outside the city watch. But go ahead and get your travel done now, because you'll need to.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it in mind. But other than that, man, I think I'm just very excited to see because there's so much, it's so much stuff that's so new, right? The back 1991 was the last time that the SEC had no divisions. So
Yeah, I wasn't
literally,
alive.
I was.
Damn.
I was probably a sperm. I was probably a little fetus at this point. Maybe a couple months when the season ended, if you will. So that explains a lot. Okay, Juan Daniels was about to get ready. He was balling out in high school. Okay, keep that in mind. Actually, yeah, he was balling out in high school. He was getting ready. He was getting ready to go to Georgia. Yeah. But because the dynamics, man, are changing. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
100%. I can't wait.
Me neither. I think a lot of us can't wait, man. If you love college football, man, you're getting some good football every week. I feel like.
When are they going to drop tickets?
Don't know.
Hey, and I do want to say this to anybody that is a Georgia season ticket holder. Follow me on Twitter. Podcast Poppy, one word. Podcast Poppy, one word. Follow me on Twitter because, especially for this Texas game, I'm going to get down there. So I'm going to be seeing y'all, and I definitely would love to, find more Georgia fans at some of these games as well. But it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait. There's a couple of marquee games that I'm locked into yet again. Texas, Alabama, Florida, got to go. Ole Miss, that's another one for me. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But with that being said, SEC really screwed season ticket holders. Toughest games are on the road. Falcons. So I think you might get this, but I'm going to try to reiterate this in a clear as possible here. What you see this year, the home games will be made up for next year. So if obviously right now we're in a situation where kind of this limbo stage, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get after this upcoming year, right?
Yep.
Because right now you're doing 8 games, right? It could go to 9 conference games, right? It could be a 3-6 model, could be a 1-8 model. You don't know. 2025 could look a whole lot different, however. But keeping this model consistent, Falcon, here's what you got to understand. If you have most of these on the road in 2025, barring no changes, you're going to get a lot of good marquee home games. That's the perk for this, if you will. That's just my takeaway for it. I think you're going to get that situation, but at the same time, it does keep you in the loop there. But if things change in 2025, right, and you've got the 9 conference game, I think they're going to shake everything up at that point, and I think home games are going to be very interesting to say the least. So it's not. Think about it this way: it's not going to be this year or the past year, right? Where there felt like no. Now obviously Ole Miss made it for a top 10 matchup or, like a top 15 matchup, whatever. But if you think about it, looking on paper at the very start, there were no oh man, really, we got a weak ass home schedule. Then you got Tennessee coming in as 1 versus 3. You're like, oh shit. So the SEC will work its way into making big matchups, right? But it also does depend on the opponents that you have. So there is that. But no, other than that, Keon, I think it's good to see the schedule release. Obviously, we talked about Dylan Raiola, right? I think everybody needs to hear those pieces about that. Everybody's got their own opinion about it. You heard ours.
Yep.
And looking forward to seeing what the portal does for Georgia. I think you're on commit watch right now, by the way, if you're listening to this or watching.
I do think it's important for everybody to know and to note that the portal it giveth and the portal taketh away.
Yeah, 100% accurate. We'll leave it there. With that being said, I'm Robert Reynolds, and that is Keon. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, and review if you're listening to us on podcasts, wherever you
Hell yes. Let us know what you think. Is this what you love? Is this the stuff that makes you want to bark? Let us know. Leave a review. Follow us. DGD Podcast on Twitter. Podcast Poppy on Twitter. Get at us. Get at me, dog. And go Dogs.
I'll leave it there. Have a great night and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.